What's going on, people? This is Shy Harris, and this is another edition of Interviews with a Rebel. And this week I actually sit down with mental health advocate as well as mental health agency owner Lateacia Sessoms of Connecting Communities and Communities of Change. And this week we talk about everything as far as the business of mental health, starting an agency, growing an agency, being hands-on in the community, just a lot of stuff that she actually does. So this is the Lateacia Sessoms episode. What's going on, people? This is Shy Harris of the Rebel Society, and this is another edition of Interviews with the Rebel. So the whole purpose of this series is to highlight different creators and entrepreneurs who are doing innovative and unconventional things in the community, in business, and in the world. So today we have Miss Lateacia Sessoms. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing awesome. So I always like to start off with how I met you. How I met the person that's sitting next to me. So I met you a couple years ago at Fit Bar when I was doing a lot of work for them, and you were actually, one of the people that was in the classes. And you always had a lot of energy. You always had, a lot of spunk, I guess would be the right word. And then I realized that you really like a real live boss out here. So you do a lot of great things within the community. So for the people that don't know you, who are you and what do you do?
So I am Lateacia Sessoms. I am a woman of God. I am a wife, a mother of 2 wonderful children. I am the executive director of Connecting Communities, and I am the president and founder of Community of Change.
Okay. All right, so icebreaker question.
Okay.
Which music artist do you feel like you relate to the most as far as music, their appearance, aesthetic, message, all that stuff?
Oh my God, Shad. This is like really easy.
Yeah.
You probably know who I'm gonna say, but I can relate most to Beyonce. I love everything about that woman. She is fierce. She is fun. She is a boss. She's a hustler. She is a great mother, wife, her fashion, her style. I just love everything about her.
Okay.
And her music also.
Okay. All right. I was gonna mention something, but we ain't gonna go there. We're gonna keep it pushing. All right. So I'm really big into like origin stories. So like how like the Joker movie came out and they just showed the backstory of a person. I'm really big into that. So what do you feel like is your 60-second, 90-second origin story of the things that made you to who you are right now?
Okay. One of the things that I have not shared very much, unless you know me and you know my family, I have a very extensive family that have criminal history. And there is a stigma attached to individuals who have done something bad and they are not relieved of that. Even after they've paid their time, paid the price, it's like a lifetime punishment. And a lot of things that individuals in my family or individuals that I'm connected with have experienced has led them to that criminal history, violent history, abusive history. And so I wanted to bring life to the psychological component to why we do what we do. Okay. And so that has always been my driving force. I've always enjoyed working with kids. I used to work at parks and recreation, did before after school programs and fun things that my family members always wanted me to keep their kids and things of that nature. So I love kids, I love family, and I just am inspired to just do more to bring awareness to situations.
Okay. All right, so I guess the real question, I'm always big into like, exactly what do you do? So how do you actually make your money?
Okay, so I actually make my money by being who I am. No, but seriously, we have, at Connecting Communities, we offer mental health skill building and intensive in-home. Okay. We also offer outpatient therapy. And so that's generally how we make our money, through the funding of those services, which is the Virginia Medicaid.
Gotcha.
And our outpatient is commercial insurances and self-pay.
Oh, okay. All right, so like, what led you up to actually starting Connecting Communities? Like, yeah.
So For many,
you have a story about that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So for many years, I have made other individuals millions of dollars, running their program, being their program director, and there was no real value or appreciation there, and it was not easy being creative in someone else's environment. The last situation that I was in was what really motivated me to pursue my own. It was a very good situation initially, and then there was some family involvement that came in, and it just pushed me out. And so I just said, God said to me, it's your time. And I did what I had to do, and now we're here today, 2 years later.
Okay. So how much money were you making in those first years? Like I said, I really like to talk, numbers, because everybody could look at, somebody could look at you right now and see that, you're popping right now. But things probably weren't always like that. Correct.
So like our first year, we were actually licensed, credentialed, and contracted in October of 2017. So roughly probably about $50,000, if that. Really? In our first year, yes. Oh, okay. So in our second year, we made close to $1 million. We was like 976,000. Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. So this year we're expecting greater numbers. So you'll have to come back and interview me in 2020.
Right. We gotta do that. Yeah. You hit numbers like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so in that first year, what were you kind of doing to get your clients? Because a lot of people who hop out there and actually, get into a space like this, they realize that they don't have a way of getting clients.
So what we did to get our clients was we did some PR, very limited though. I have a very good reputation in the community, and so being that I was already in the field of mental health, when I left the previous organization, I just let everybody know, hey, I'm leaving. This is what I'm doing, intensive and home counseling. If you know anybody that needs services, hit me up and we'll just go from there. So we did very limited PR. Actually, we didn't do any PR really until we had our grand opening, which was actually 1 year later. So that was our first real PR exposure. So all of our initial clients was word of mouth.
Okay, so you feel like having a good reputation led you to like just people wanting to work with you and stuff?
Absolutely, that is essential. I have gotten so many places because of my personality and my heart. It has nothing to do with my credentials, nothing to do with my looks, nothing to do with anything else but just that.
Okay. So it seems like, from the time you opened that everything was kind of on the, the upswing. But what were some mistakes that you feel like you made probably like business-wise starting out? If any.
I personally don't feel like I made any mistakes business-wise starting out, but other providers, when I tell them what I did, they say to me, you're crazy. So what I did is I built my team that I wanted to see futuristically before we even had what I needed to have in order to fully finance what I wanted.
So break that down,
So I had a clinical director, I had a clinician, I had a QA person, I had the director, Akaya, I had like a full-fledged model of people actually on my payroll that I could not afford, but I knew what I needed to do in order to have a successful company. So I didn't want to start off with one person, overload that person. I wanted to go ahead and compartmentalize all of the entities within this one organization so that we can carry out this smoothly.
So how did you do that without, like you said, you weren't able to pay them?
I was able to pay them. I just wasn't, we weren't generating enough revenue to actually have everybody on full time or even to like cover the salaries. But I had someone to make a loan to the company, and that afforded me the opportunity to be able to do what I needed to do.
So, and you feel like that's probably like the best way to kind of like build out a team?
For me, it was. Like I said, in talking to others, it was not.
Because I feel like most people who start businesses, no matter what it is, they work by themselves, and then they will, get one person here, and then maybe get another person, and then slowly build it up.
So I could not work by myself because I'm not a one-man show. Yeah. And I just walked by faith with this, and I said it's gonna happen, and God said just do it, and I just did it. So me working by myself was not an option because I was actually still working full time at that other organization. Yeah. So that was just not an option for me. So I had to put people in place that can. Okay. And I utilized a lot of my money that I was making from there. I just put it into here. Okay.
So since we're talking about building out a team, what do you feel like is, for the people that can't build out a full team, what do you feel like in your industry is maybe like the 2 or 3 kind of pieces that you need to have like off jump? Like.
So is that question in terms of people in place or just generalized?
Generalized.
Okay. So money.
Yeah.
People.
No, I mean necessarily like people. For people who are trying to build out a team, who do you feel like are the key roles or?
Oh, okay, yeah. I got you. So the clinical director, the QA, and then an office person.
Okay.
Of course, you're gonna need your field service workers. Yeah. That's a given. But in terms of in-house, those are like the 3 key people.
Okay. All right. So for these next couple of questions, more so geared towards the people who are, want to be in your position. Okay. All right. So I feel like as far as any career, any industry, there's a blueprint to success. So like with what I do, if I do networking, I put out my own content and I always show my work, I'm gonna get new clients. Okay. Or my brand as a content creator, a marketing strategist will continue to grow. So what do you feel like is the blueprint for running a mental health agency?
So the blueprint for us, for me in general, is I take very good care of my staff. Like my admin team is amazing. They love what they do. They enjoy working here. And it's because I have created a culture here that is warm, it's accepting, it's friendly. They can be in their most vulnerable state and show up and nobody judges them. It's very flexible. We have individuals that bring their babies to work. They nurse. They can stay home if they choose to. They can be hanging out of an airplane if they choose to. Whatever, I just think that it is very vital to make sure that you take care of the individuals that are taking care of somebody else. Okay. So that is the blueprint. That is all. That is all. Literally all that I do. As I make sure it's I take care of my people. Okay. I literally take very good care of my people.
All right. So I believe in the phrase, you got to spend money to make money. Okay. So what is something that you spent money on that has led you to the most return?
Recently we had a couple of events, and that is a component of our nonprofit. We had our 2nd year anniversary. We had our trunk or treat, and I think my biggest return on my investment is investing into my community, and I don't consider that to be a financial return. But I can consider that to be a return in terms of what my long-term goal is for my community. And I can see the shift that is occurring because of the presence that we're bringing to our community. So these events are financially costly, but the return on the investment is greater because we're getting individuals to change, to see things differently, to want to be a part of a community. So that's like a great investment for.
Okay. So you said that you started doing events recently, and they've led to a lot more eyes on your company and just a lot more brand awareness. Would you recommend like events to somebody who's like just starting out?
If they can financially afford it. Let me back up. We have been doing things in our community for a while, for over a year. Right. It's not until a couple of months ago, we was out feeding the homeless, and individuals asked me to pray for them. And God spoke to me. He said that, your change is in your mouth. Like you have to speak. Because I'm a very private person. Like I don't like to share. Like this interview now is like good, but it's like it's not a lot, but you're asking a lot of, you know, private questions. But I am very open to answering them because I want to be able to share my gift with the world. But a few months ago, I'm like, no, I don't want anybody to know about me. I don't want them to know what we're doing. We just keep on doing it. Yeah. And then he said that, you know, you have to, the instrument is your mouth. So you have to speak, you have to. And so I posted that of me praying for individuals in the community while we were feeding them. And it just highlighted connecting communities from there. So what I say to individuals, it does not have to be on a large scale, but anything you can do to make a change in your community, of course I recommend it. It's not
touch the people.
Yes, because that is what mental health is about. You cannot make a change behind a desk, four walls. It's grassroots. You have to get out there and do the work. And so I would definitely recommend having something on a small scale, or if they can afford it, by all means, do it. But yes, I think that community engagement, community outreach is very vital to mental health and to a successful business.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So you mentioned that you see, you know, well, you don't see, but a lot of people feel like they can, you know, stay in their four walls and still try to, you know, touch the people and what have you. So with that being said, what do you feel like, because I would think that you would probably know a lot of people who are in this industry as well. What do you feel like is maybe some common mistakes that you might see other, you know, mental health owners, agency owners do?
Lack of engagement, and that's just with their business. It's a lot of individuals that own mental health practices, mental health agencies, organizations, however they label it, but they're not involved in their business. So they have individuals actually running their business and they are not knowledgeable of what's going on inside of their business. Some other mistakes I see individuals making is they're not reachable. They're not approachable. You can't touch them. I mean, it's almost like you get this status and then you forget about the little ones. And so I think if you want to bring change, you have to be a part of that. And being mean, disgruntled, or, you know, overlooking things, it does not go far. And I think that has been like the majority with mental health, especially the ones that I see. Now I know a lot of agencies that the owners are involved and, you know, they're approachable and all of those things, but then there are a lot that I know that like, whoa, like what we're doing here, and that really makes it bad for us because that changes the dynamics of mental health from the governing bodies. Gotcha. And it makes it difficult because they're always changing policies because of people that are doing things wrong.
So if one company or a handful of companies are doing things completely messed up, then the government, like, you know what, we shut it down for everybody.
Yep. And so we're going through that transition as we speak. There are a lot of MCOs that are canceling contracts and just doing a wide array of things that are, I feel, a retaliation for what has happened in the past.
Okay. So to piggyback off that, like, most of the work I do is really like, I'm pretty much in control of how much money I make, or, you know, if I want to make, you know, 5,000 money I can, if I want to make 50,000 money, I'm really in control of that, just how much work I do. But how is it when like pretty much the government is in control of your money?
So when the government is in control of your money, there are guidelines and regulations and protocols that you must follow in order to be reimbursed for those things. That you can make money, you can make as much money as you want, but it has to be done in the right manner, which means like for us, we get a lot of clients all the time, a lot of them that we're referring out because we don't have the staff. So I can say yes all along and, you know, getting these people and just pushing them in, getting people to work. Hey, just do 1 hour, just do 2 hours. But that's not me.
Right,
that's
right.
not who I am. So if I cannot fully service an individual with where their needs are, then I can't accept that individual. But the government, in terms of their payment, we bill for services that we provide, and then they reimburse us.
I think I'm meaning more so in regards to, like, you know, you could be doing everything right, you know, your business could be going good, and then the government will change something that can kind of like shut down the whole business. Like, I've seen enough mental health companies actually go through that. So, like, speak to that a little bit, like.
Okay, so yeah, that can happen at any given time, and that's what I was just speaking on earlier about the MCOs who are counseling contracts now. That fortunately has not happened to us, and we're just so grateful. But yes, at any given time, they can say, hey, effective December 1, we no longer want you in our network. And that means if you have 25 kids that are with Anthem, Aetna, United Healthcare, whoever sends you that letter, that means you have to lose 25 kids. Losing 25 kids is almost like losing an agency if you have something. Like, for us, we are like small, we're growing. So if we lost 25 kids, that will be extremely detrimental to us.
Yeah. All right, so where can people find you at?
You can find me at 309 County Street, Suite 203, on Facebook, Connecting Communities, Lateacia Sessoms. You can also visit our website at www.connectingcommunitiesllc.com.
All right. All right, so I thank you for being a part of this. It was a great conversation. I don't normally get to talk to people in this space, so hearing some of the ups and downs that you guys go through, and actually how you built your team was pretty remarkable, so I appreciate you telling that.
Yeah.
So
thank you for having me.
No problem. So once again, I'm Shad Harris. You can find me everywhere at Shad Harris, as well as shadharris.com, as well as I'm currently building out the Rebel Society. I had to redesign it. So the rebelsociety.com is going to be coming back out shortly. And this is Interviews with a Rebel. So good day, good evening, good night, and we're out.